I really try to be as transparent as I possibly can. I think you just scoffed in the microphone. Would you like to know what that was? Because I'll tell you.
I'm sure everyone would love to know.
I just wanted. Now you're annoying me again. Not here for your affirmation. Immediately on the.
Cop-out. Okay, fine.
What do you mean it's a cop-out? Get off the f***ing internet, son. Don't stop believing that stuff.
Laws based on Christianity that would...
All of our laws are based on Christianity.
Government should be limited and not infringing within people.
I mean, look.
Literally dumping poop on protesters.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to be watching Tucker Carlson at a recent TPUSA event. I didn't know how much pushback he would get here, but there was a lot. Some of the smuggest libs I have ever seen.
As I possibly can.
And they really went at him about a host of issues. So this one did not disappoint. Tucker Carlson was absolutely on fire. So with that, let's get into the first one.
Hi, Tucker. This is kind of surreal because I remember watching you in 2004 on CNN.
What?
Fire with Paul Begala with John.
I never did that. That's AI, man. I never.
CNN. There was a lot of people don't know you were on MSNBC.
I never worked at CNN.
On Crossfire? Are you like just straight? Really? Are you denying that right now? For real?
Have you ever heard of AI, dude?
Oh my God. Oh, he's doing it. That's pretty good.
I'm totally kidding.
See, I don't.
No, I did. I've done a lot of shameful things. I'm not going to pretend.
I have one thing in common with you. I'm also long-winded and have a hard time, you know, wrapping up my thoughts. But I don't have your rhetorical
Find a patient wife. That's my advice.
I don't have your rhetorical skills, so you'll definitely, you know, throw a lot of shit my way that I won't be able to counter. But I wonder, like, for you, like being at CNN, being at Fox, and like you say, you know, you're all against disinformation, but you were, you know, up there with Sean Hannity, just repeating talking points, you know, on Fox News that Rupert Murdoch and Roger Ailes were just telling you to say. That got the Tea Party started. You can't tell me that you weren't conscious that you were spreading disinformation. In 2020,
wait, hold on. You've already.
I had an example.
No. I'm gonna need. First of all, I never got talking points from Ailes or.
Okay, well, I'm sure they didn't directly give them to you, obviously.
Okay. Well, I worked there for 15 years, so if you're interested in like what it was like, I'm happy to tell you as honestly as I can.
Well, it's just...
But let me just ask what disinformation means.
I think disinformation can come across in a lot of...
No, but what is it?
Ways.
What is it?
It is purposefully trying to mislead people.
So it's lying?
It can be, yeah, yeah, I mean, that's an example.
Let's just call it lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be lying just, oh, that's a lie.
Okay, so we just cut 3 syllables off the word. That's a win.
Okay.
That's a Doge move. We went from disinformation to lying.
All right.
Yeah.
So like, do you not feel like you've been part of contributing to the rise of essentially just people gaslighting each other and just, like, what's
gaslighting?
What are your personal convictions? Like, do you sometimes forget what you actually believe versus, like, what you thought?
How old are you, son?
Too old. I'm old. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I remember. I've seen you for a lot, like, the text.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like, when you texted,
okay, well,
I can't wait for Trump to, I hate him with passion, like, with a passion. Like, you had, those came out in court, and that's what you thought. But at the same time, you were actively supporting Trump and the whole 2020 election situation. So that's disinformation right there.
Okay, so you're giving me a lecture about what I think. And I do think...
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I promised in the spirit of Charlie I would not use profanity from the stage.
It's okay, I'm French. You can shit on me all you want, dude.
Okay. It's called merde, son. Okay, I would... rather than tell me what I think or what my experience was, I think it's, and I've done that to a lot of people. I've told people what they think. So I've committed that sin. So I'm familiar with it. I'm not judging you, but I'm just giving you advice. It's more evocative, it's more productive to ask what people think.
That's what I'm trying to ask.
And so you're saying you participated, I think you're saying, in a lot of things that were false and bad for the country. And what do you really think?
Yeah,
so I would answer your
thought process.
I would answer your second question first. I really try to be as transparent as I possibly can. I think you just scoffed in the microphone.
I mean, there was text that came out in court finally.
Would you like to know what that was? Because I'll tell you.
I'm sure everyone would love to know. Yeah, when the Dominion lawsuit.
You're one of the most annoying people I've ever dealt with. This is why I don't come across. No, but hold on. I'm gonna, no. Hold on. I'm gonna apologize. I just want to apologize for saying that. Okay, so.
That's such an honor.
Yeah, I know.
So, Tucker, don't apologize. I mean, we cannot blame you here. This kid was unbelievably irritating. Actually, not kid. It's like a man, but he looks very effeminate, so he looks younger, but he seems like, in the way he's speaking, like he's in his 30s or 40s. But don't apologize. He deserves it. I mean, this dude is just such a typical, insufferable lib. He strikes me as somebody that goes to art galleries and pretends to like postmodern art and has lots of female friends who he decries toxic masculinity with, and maybe writes a blog as well. And pees sitting down. And sleeps with the lights on. But in all seriousness though, the problem with guys like this is not that he looks like he moans when he wipes his bum.
Yeah?
But it's that he actually cannot fathom the idea of somebody admitting they were wrong, changing their mind, and then changing course. They would never do that in a million years, and they think it's a flex when they call Tucker out for doing that. Furthermore, they'll do this thing, these male libs, where they'll pretend like they're being nice to you. All the while, they are subtly and then overtly insulting you and gaslighting. This is what women do. This is a very, very feminine manipulation tactic. The respectable thing to do would just be to get up there, tell him exactly what you think about him, and have the debate. Don't be a little gaslighting, straw-manning weasel about it. And so I can really understand the visible disgust on Tucker's face there.
When the
I
Dominion
just
lawsuit.
wanted.
These are very, very disingenuous people, and they cannot be trusted. Let's move on.
My views are like on the internet, and I don't work for anybody but me. I'm in business with my college roommate. I have no incentive to ever lie at all, and I really try not to. I supported the Iraq War pretty vehemently. I supported the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett. That was like a huge mistake. Sorry. I think it's not what I thought she was. I support John Roberts. I support, what's the list of dumb things I've supported in my life is very long. I think I've learned something from those mistakes. I'm happy to admit how dumb they were. I've spent the last 22 years trying to atone for my support for the Iraq War.
I appreciate that. And
hold on, I'm not, okay, now you're annoying me again.
Oh my God.
Not here for your affirmation. So I would say, as to the text specifically, you want to actually know? I mean, are you even willing to hear it? I'll tell you exactly what that was. Those were between me and a producer of mine who I really love, who I still am close to. And that was about, it was in January after the election, and Trump was saying, they stole it from me. And I called the White House and I said, I'm totally willing to believe that. I mean, Zuckerberg puts, $400 million into the mechanics of elections. I don't think he's doing that because he believes in good government. Like, what is this? It's clearly their stuff. And I say to the White House, someone specifically at the White House, give me examples. And he says, I have got a great example for you. I've got 7 or 8 dead people who voted. And the beauty of that claim was it's provable because they're death certificates. And we've got the death certificates and we've got the obits, and they voted, and they're on the voter rolls. We know they voted. Well, I mean, talk about slam dunk. I'm not repeating anything I can't prove. I don't trust any campaign, period. I never have, on either side. I just don't trust campaign consultants. They're disgusting. I still think that. But this seemed like a verifiable hit. So I go out there and I say, there's a lot of talk, and you can pull up the tape. There's a lot of talk about, election theft. We're working on it. And I'm working in Fox News, so there's a lot of, let's find out what happened.
Guys, just a quick one. We are swimming against it again with the algorithms at the moment. If you would not mind smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, it does help us out enormously. And also comment, let me know what you think down below. Would really appreciate it. With that, let's get back to it.
But we know that 7 or 10 dead people voted, and here are their names. Miss Wanda Johnson of Sioux City, Iowa, and Jack Klein of Corpus Christi, Texas, and I would go through the whole name, and we'll put the obits up. Well, within 25 minutes, a couple of the dead people call CNN to say, we're not dead. And CNN runs this whole thing exposing that I have just made this colossal error on the air. There's nothing I hate more than being wrong and humiliated like that, because I have a staff. We should get this right. And I didn't get it right because it's so easy to check whether or not someone has died that I didn't check. And I was enraged. And I was just enraged by the whole thing. And my position was, at the time, if you're going to claim it was stolen, prove it to me. I'm an adult man. I'm not taking anybody's word for anything.
How come you weren't saying these things during, like, on Fox News?
I did the next day.
You know, and I'm not here to just try to argue with you. Like, I really do think this country's going through some, like, deeply troubling times.
Wait, what do you mean argue with me? You just said, wait, stop. You just, wait, stop. No, wait, hold on. You said, why didn't you say these things? And I said, I did the next day on the air, live on Fox News. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. No,
but you didn't, though. Like,
check the tape, dude.
Emphasis of your show... The emphasis.
What are you talking about? I went immediately on the.
Cop-out. Okay, fine.
What do you mean it's a cop-out? I was completely wrong. I blamed the Trump campaign for being wrong, when it was partly my fault for taking their word for it, which I shouldn't have done. And the guy who gave me that information, I just ran into. I'm still mad at him. He's still around.
It's just, so you don't take any ownership for, like, devices?
What do you mean any ownership?
Like, you had the #1 rated show in America.
What specifically are you talking about?
You had the #1 rated cable
I'm aware of that. I hosted it.
Yeah, I know. So you had, I know. So the amount of influence that you carried.
So you don't agree. Look, you don't agree with my views.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. Tucker,
so you're saying my views are insincere?
No, we disagree. Yes, I truly doubt your sincerity, and I think at this point in your career,
then that's your problem.
I'm trying to understand it because it makes no sense. Like, you're worth $50 million.
I'm not worth $50 million.
30 to 50.
Get off the fucking internet, son. Don't stop believing that stuff.
Oh.
$50 million?
Go back to cable news.
Sorry.
No, but I'm just, look.
Okay, you're too annoying. You're too annoying. So I like the last chick who, like, disagreed with me, and then we could have, like, a normal conversation.
All right.
But you're, like, telling me you're worth $50 million. What? Stop.
Okay, you got real defensive there. I just threw out a number that's like a lot of money. Jesus Christ, calm down.
Don't use that phrase.
You're worth.
We're done.
Well, look.
Just stop.
Can I say one?
No, you can't. Not after you say that. Leave.
All right.
Okay, so I mean, Tucker's trolling here was top tier. I mean, disinformation is just a sterilized Soviet word for lying, and I'm glad that Tucker called it for what it is. It's intentionally spreading false information, so it's just lying. And the arrogance and hubris from this little man is actually astonishing. He's trying to lecture Tucker about what he thinks and about Tucker's own thoughts and experiences. I mean, Tucker has been open about this for the past few years and beyond. A news anchor that's fired from 3 separate networks actually gives the guy some credibility. At least he hasn't sold out to stay in the club like the rest of them. And honestly, like, who hasn't said something in anger or haste at some point? I definitely have. We all have. And if somebody fed you false information and then you repeated it publicly, wouldn't you be furious? That's happened to me before. I was pretty mad about it. And now imagine that happening when you are one of the most, if not the most, watched news figure in the entire country. But anyways, I actually just respect this position that Tucker takes because he could have very easily kept the golden handcuffs on. He had a very cushy thing going on network television and he would still be attracting an audience. But he decided to go out on his own and he's taken a lot of heat and criticism for this. And it's a massive risk. I mean, look what happened to Don Lemon.
How you doing, sir? Good. Can we talk to you? Where are you from? Do you live in New York?
Who are you?
Don Lemon.
You're a f***ing moron, dude.
Thank you. So are you.
I mean, those who are so entrenched in establishment media don't ever really get to come out and make a career outside of it. So on to the next.
We wanted to ask that for a platform that advocates for limited government and personal freedoms, how do you justify the imposition of Christian values and beliefs onto a secular nation that was founded on the separation of church and state?
Well, I guess I don't see a lot of imposition of Christian values. I wish we had a lot more. The country was founded on Christian values.
You wish that we had laws?
I'm sorry?
You wish that our country had laws based on Christianity that would...
All of our laws are based on Christianity. All of them.
And do you think that's a good thing?
Well, it's the essential thing. It's why we're America. All of our laws are based on Christianity. Not sectarian Christianity, not Protestant Christianity, Catholic Christianity, Orthodox Christianity.
Secular country with...
It's not actually a secular country. Have you looked at the dollar bill? No. It's not a secular country. Our founding documents have God all over them. In fact, that's the point of our founding documents. I don't know if you've read them. You should.
Do you not believe in the separation of church and state?
Once again, and this is why I do worry about college, because the thought process does seem less rigorous than it ought to be. I'm not arguing against separation of church and state.
It seems like you are. It seems like you want Christian laws on a Christian.
All of our laws are Christian laws. All of them. All of them. There's not one law in this country, in our criminal code, that's not based on a Christian understanding of justice. Let me explain what that is. And I think you'll be glad that you live in a country based on the Christian precept of justice. And here's the difference between East and West, Christian and non-Christian. And Christianity is the only religion that believes that each individual will be judged alone by God. We do not do in Christianity or in the United States, which is based on the Christian understanding of justice, group punishment, period. You can't punish someone's children for the sins of his parents. We don't punish entire populations. We don't kill civilians because we have a Christian understanding of what justice is. We do not do group punishment, period. Every other country on earth outside of Western Europe and the Anglosphere does. You are all through Asia, all through the Middle East. In Russia, traditionally, if the parent does something wrong, the entire family is punished, but not in the United States. Period. Why? Because Christianity, only Christianity, doesn't believe that. It doesn't believe in blood guilt. And I don't know any other religion that rejects blood guilt with the vehemence that Christianity does. So yes, our laws are based on Christianity. You don't have to believe in Jesus to live here. I don't think you should have to believe in Jesus to live here. If that's what you're worried about, I don't think that. I would never advocate for that. But the Christian understanding of what justice is the thing that makes America a country worth living in. Get rid of that, and it's a hellscape. It's Rwanda. It's the Middle East. It's Asia. You don't want that.
How can you say that you believe in the separation of church and state if you're advocating for a people that is not homogeneously Christian to be following Christian laws?
I guess what I said was our understanding of justice, which is reflected and I hope remains reflected in our legal code, derives from the Christian understanding of justice, which is far superior to any other religion's perception, understanding of justice. And that's one of the reasons that people who are not Christian move here, because they agree that collective punishment is immoral. It's totally immoral. It's why what's happening in Gaza is disgusting. It's why what's happening around the world is disgusting, because a whole group is identified as guilty, and Christians do not believe that is possible. Groups can't be guilty. They can't be saved collectively. Every person stands alone before God and is judged on his behavior and his belief, period. And our legal code reflects that. So you can't fire the kids of someone who gets arrested for something, okay? You don't have to be Christian to think that's a good thing. That's what human rights are. Where do you think human rights come from? Christianity. Why was slavery abolished? Christianity. Why?
Slavery was perpetuated by people making arguments from the Bible.
Well, for sure. Lots of bad things have been perpetuated by people making arguments from the Bible. But in the end, it was eliminated because Great Britain eliminated it on Christian grounds. And Great Britain, not any other country. And lots of other countries were deeply involved in the slave trade, as you know. But one Anglo-English-speaking Christian country with a head of state who was also the head of the church, it didn't have separation of church and state, Great Britain eliminated slavery on Christian grounds, and those grounds were really simple. Each person is created by God, and his rights are inalienable because they're delivered not by the state, but by God. And that is reflected in our Bill of Rights. And you don't want to live in a country that doesn't have that. And you guys are so brainwashed.
Church and state. What is that then?
Okay, so separation of church and state is not the same as secularism. Secularists are more than happy to impose their worldview on everybody else, especially in schools where they push their values onto children and punish kids who hold religious or conservative beliefs. I mean, America was not founded on some modern wall of separation. And if that were the core principle, it would appear in the Constitution. Instead, God is referenced 4 times in the Declaration of Independence, and this strict separation idea developed later. It was not the founding position. So what does the First Amendment actually say then? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That prohibited the federal government from instituting a national church, but it did not prohibit the states from having one. And that distinction actually matters. The phrase separation of church and state first appears in Rhode Island in 1636 and later in Jefferson's 1802 letter to the Danbury Baptist. And the purpose was clear: to protect the church from the state and not the state from the church. And Tucker is also correct on another point, that the legal traditions come from English common law, and this is rooted in a Christian moral philosophy. But he unintentionally overstates it when he says that all of our laws are Christian. They're not. Abortion, gay marriage, and no-fault divorce are the opposite of Christian teaching. Yes, there's a Christian perspective on these, but at the moment, they're not very Christian. But you see what he's saying there, because even in those areas, the framework, due process, individual dignity, the moral language of rights, is still Christian in origin. All right, moving on now to when Tucker gets challenged on abortion. This is an interesting one.
Hi, Mr. Carlson. My name is Joe. I've been a big fan of your show my whole life. I used to watch it with my father on TV, and he's watching me right now, and so
thanks.
this is really a privilege. I'd like to say I agree with you on most things, foreign policy, domestic policy. However, there's one thing that I do not agree with you with.
Weed?
I do not smoke.
I hate weed. Everyone loves weed. All the cool kids love weed. I hate weed. So okay, but I'm sorry, I won't guess. But tell me what you disagree with me on.
I do disagree with you on abortion.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
And I like to call myself a conservative, and sometimes it feels like a cop-out to say that I'm a pro-choice conservative. I'm a man of faith. I do go to church, and I believe in Jesus Christ, that he's my Lord and Savior, but I think that when I act as a conscientious actor the same way Henry David Thoreau did with not wanting to support a government that supports slavery, and the same way Socrates did when he was in prison, I just don't think I can align the belief that abortion should be banned with the idea that the government should be limited and not infringing within people.
I get what you're saying, and I once had that belief. I mean, I felt the way that you feel. Like, I don't want government in the bedroom. I didn't realize that government would arrive in the bedroom and they'd be telling my kids about gays in 5th grade or whatever. Like, government's definitely in our bedroom. Promoting the sexual practices it approves of and discouraging the others. So government's in our bedroom. Thanks, Human Rights Campaign and HHS. But I get what you're saying. So I would just start here. Does government have the right to prevent people from killing each other?
I mean, yes, to a certain extent. I think that...
What would be that extent?
I mean...
When can government not tell people not to kill each other?
In cases of self-defense. If someone breaks into my property...
That is correct.
If someone breaks into my property and I act in retaliation, I don't think the government should have the right to say, you can't do that.
I think you're absolutely right. Of course, I vehemently agree with you. I think the distinction would be the child didn't actually break in. The child didn't do anything wrong. And to the young lady who was asking me about the theocracy that she worries is coming, not soon enough, sad. But no, totally kidding, sort of. But one of the basis of the Western justice I was just extolling is that you can't punish the innocent. That's why we don't believe in collective punishment. You only punish people who've done something wrong. And the worst thing that you can ever do in life and in the justice system is punish the innocent. You know, what the famous, was it Hugo Black or some famous Supreme Court justice said, rather have 10 men go free than one innocent man be punished. And I think most decent people feel that way. I certainly do. And that stems from a Christian understanding of justice. So it's hard to identify the crime the child has committed. Now, you could, I think we can conclusively say the child hasn't actually done anything wrong.
Yes, I
So
agree.
you can't kill him. And you could make the argument, and people have, that for the first, in fact, Roe made this argument, that the first 3 months it's not a human. I think it's kind of a weird argument. I don't agree with it, but at least it's an argument. But if the child can live outside the womb, you're killing an innocent person. That's not a close call at all. And people who call themselves pro-choice don't seem that eager to ban that. Like, that should be illegal tomorrow. If a child can live outside the womb, I don't care if you think the child is not up to your specifications, like the kind of child you want. Oh, the child is spina bifida or whatever. It's sad, okay, but it's not a crime. Having a birth defect is not a crime, is it? I know Hitler thought it was a crime. I don't think it was a crime. So you can't kill people who haven't done anything wrong. And I just think your position would have more credibility. I'm not attacking you at all. Again, I had your position, so I understand that people of good faith can arrive at the place you have. But I think it would be good to think that through, because there are tens, hundreds of thousands of post-viability children murdered every year in abortion, and like, can we allow that? How can we allow that? I can't hear what you're saying, but. Okay, well, I don't know. If 1% of the country were in slavery, you'd be like, it's just 1%. You know, like, if something's bad, it's bad. And the government should be against it. Like, what's the point of a government? The point of a government is to, you know, maintain the, as they used to say, the monopoly on violence. It's the people we elect to maintain order and carry out the imposition of what we think is justice. And if we agree that you can't kill innocent people, and I hope that all of us do, then the government should prevent it. Like, what's the point of having a government otherwise? It's not just to, like, you know, secure copyright and make it, you know, easy for the hedge funds to operate. There has to be something else, and that would be a good place to start.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Carlson. I will be reflecting tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So there is just nothing Christian whatsoever. There's something very pagan about it, but there's nothing Christian about supporting abortion. And the argument of bodily autonomy only goes so far, because in this case, it's not the woman's body, it's a child's body. This is a separate life, a separate living human being. And there is a broad moral agreement that everybody has the right to defend themselves in the United States, but they don't have the right to harm the innocent. And the most innocent are the unborn. They are the only living humans that are actually completely innocent 100% of the time. And I like what Tucker said there at the end when he said if 1% of the population lived in slavery, then that would be 1% too much. If you want to say, well, it's just 1%, that doesn't justify why that is in any way okay. Still, the young man's reaction was very good.
Thank you, Mr. Carlson. I will be reflecting tonight.
Self-reflection is a step in the right direction. Hopefully he'll come around and he'll be able to see the flaw in his reasoning. So with that, let's get into the last clip here.
I was just told that I was the last one to speak at this event, and in the spirit of what you said and respecting Charlie Kirk, I want to turn this last question more so into a discourse rather than a debate. Yeah, bear with me, I'm just using my phone. I'm sure you've seen the AI video Trump posted recently showing himself literally dumping poop on protesters, representing the millions of real Americans, including veterans, teachers, parents exercising their rights. His team calls it satire, but I look at this and see everything converging. Everything's become ironic, so nothing can be taken seriously. Each outrage has to be more extreme than the last. We've stopped seeing these people as actual human beings. And the whole media ecosystem, including left-wing media, right-wing media, Trump, and you at times, reward it because it drives engagement. You, Tucker, have shown that you can have empathy for individuals, but here we have millions of people being depicted as being deserving to be shit on. So my question is, do you ever feel trapped in this system? Maybe you think it's corrosive, but do you think incentives make it almost impossible to do anything else? Or is there a line where even within those incentives, you'd say, this has gone too far?
Well, I'll take your question seriously. Do I feel trapped in a system? I mean, there definitely have been times in the course of my long, 30 years of doing this where I felt like I work at a network. I always made a big show internally if I'm going to say whatever I want, and if you don't like it, fire me. But when they finally did fire me, well, when I got fired for the third time, I realized that there is self-censorship that goes on. Like, there's some topics you just don't want to broach because you know that they're too hot, your bosses don't like them. And so I do think in some sense I was captive at the various channels I worked at. And I definitely went along with stuff that I feel bad about now, most significantly the Iraq War, but I'm sure many others. And so, yes, I would say now, I don't want to make it about me, but since you asked about me, I often get this like, well, you're in it for the money, or no, I'm really not actually at all. And no, I don't have $50 million, but I also have no debt, and like my kids are grown, and I'm not working for anybody. I really can say whatever I want, and I love that. I feel so blessed by that. So it's not really a calculation.
It always amazes me how these libs tend to get so angry about AI meme slop. Memes are not treated equally. When the right cracks a joke, it's dangerous rhetoric, and when the left does it, it's just satire, bro. I mean, at least the right can tell when the left is joking. It's almost never true in the reverse. Maybe because our comedy is so much better than theirs that they just can't understand it. And the AI Trump poop meme is a perfect example. Are we supposed to believe that this carries some profound message? Do you really think that Trump wants all of the protesters to be covered in feces and he wants to ride in the jet and drop it all on them? No. Well, maybe Harry Sisson. But it was good when he asked Tucker if he ever felt trapped in the system. I mean, Tucker is an independent voice who was fired from 3 major networks and now says what he wants. He took some very, very unpopular positions over the years on Ukraine and on the pandemic and on Israel. And although there's an audience for these opinions, in actuality, that's actually where the big donor money lies, in taking an affirmative position on Ukraine and these things. But I think Tucker did really well here. And since leaving Fox, I've actually noticed that he's become a lot more compelling. I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well. And I think he and the rest of us are all the better for it. So guys, let me know all of your thoughts just below there. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to watch another video, right here. Until next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.